More than 400 people have found permanent housing as Sacramento County implemented the governor's Project Room Key initiative. That's the sheltering system he created during the pandemic to use empty hotel and motel space statewide to help the unhoused quarantine. Then it became a stair-step answer to getting people off the streets in general, and it's evolved into Project Home Key, which converts room key space into permanent housing. This hour yesterday, homeless advocates joined me to talk about their fight to keep Room Key up and running in the county. And today, District 4 Supervisor Sue Frost with me live to answer to their concerns and explain more the perspective of those trying to manage the county's bottom line. Good morning to you, Supervisor, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Sinceri. Thanks for having me.
Hundreds of formerly homeless neighbors of ours, some who've been living in motel and hotel space thanks to Project Room Key now for more than a year, are about to be turned out onto the streets once again as the county closes 3 of these facilities. I'm sure that you can understand how that just doesn't make sense to a lot of people.
I can, and I know I'm sensitive to the comments that we're receiving at the board. I know this is difficult. I think early on in March 2020, when we visited this opportunity of trying to figure out how we were going to provide a non-congregate housing opportunity to isolate and basically quarantine the homeless, this seemed like a really great opportunity. I think we all agreed on that, and it was. It got us through the last couple years. Unfortunately, it's very expensive. It's not something that we can sustain. And so what the county is doing now is we're looking at other options that we can provide housing for our homeless. We definitely don't want to turn people out. We're working hard in partnership with Sacramento City and Sacramento Steps Forward to provide different housing opportunities for people so that we can kind of ramp this down over the next couple months.
You mentioned the expense. The county's budget is roughly $6 million a year, and I understand between meals and other services, it costs $1.6 million a month to keep Project Room Key in operation. Was there ever a chance that the county was going to be able to keep this going?
I don't think so. I remember at the very beginning when we first made the decision to move into Project Room Key, we anticipated this was going to happen, that once we got in, how do we ramp that down? The problem is hotel rooms cost $100 or $200 a night. And, that is just more expensive than other opportunities that we can provide. We have some really great plans. We've been working on this over the last year and a half to try to, figure out how we're going to ramp this down, how we're going to house more homeless, how we're going to get those people off the streets.
As with all pots of one-time money, they can do great things, but that great work can evaporate if no new sustainable funding sources are found. A lot of people would say, surely this would have been a situation that could have been better planned for. And to those who say this is the latest mistake by a board found by the grand jurors to have not followed the spirit of the CARES Act, which sent millions to the county to help with coronavirus issues, and then the lion's share of those dollars ended up going to pay for salaries for county sheriff's deputies and people really in need. They're saying that these people are losing again because of the county's mismanagement.
Yeah, I want to point out that a lot of people don't realize that the county, the services that we offer are offered by individuals who work for the county. We have something like 11,000 employees, and they're the ones who deliver those services. So those funds that we used at the county, not just with the CARES Act, but with ARPA, there have been funds that have gone to accommodate payroll and services that, it just continues those services happening. The other thing I want to point out is I think there's a lot of people who perceive that the real problem with homelessness is that we don't have enough housing. I think that's part of the problem. But if you really want to talk about the root cause of homelessness, it's serious mental illness and drug addiction. There are other important considerations. So it's not just housing, that you can't just put someone in a house and fix the problem. That doesn't fix the problem. And it's not always what they want. So what we're trying to do and what we've been doing throughout this whole pandemic is as quickly as possible transitioning people into permanent housing. And we're doing that in several ways, and we're expanding housing programs as we speak with some of the ARPA dollars that we got from the first tranche of ARPA. So there's, we have some exciting things coming. We're very sensitive to the homeless issue. We are trying so hard. But, the challenge with the hotels, I think we didn't even get through the first year of the Project Room Key. It was over 28 million. We had to allocate more funds last fall. We just allocated at the beginning of the year another 7 million to get us through March, April, and May as we wind it down and gradually try to find places for those people as we ramp it down. So we're doing it in a very sensitive, careful way. We do care about the homeless, and we want to house as many as we can.
Supervisor, we're going to have to put a pin in it there, but as it stands right now, by the end of this month, with federal funding running out, more than 300 people will not have a place to go unless another solution is found. And just to be clear, what the advocates shared with us yesterday about this, they do maintain, as you brought up, that this really is about economic insecurity and affordability of housing that's out there, and not just if there's housing as opposed to mental illness and addiction. Huge debate. We're glad to have you back about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.